sort of hybrid of modern dance and techno and rock and metal and Disney princess theme. There's sort of like a twisted Disney element to the show. It's also a rave, and it's really fun, and the energy in the audience is it's definitely not for the faint of heart. I don't know. I'm just happy to meet everyone, really. I'm most looking forward to building a relationship with each individual country that I go to in each individual city, and being able to establish a connection with the audience, especially, here, everyone's here, like their hearts are so big and they're so willing to share their love. And I just did a show in Puerto Rico last night, and it was like everyone's heart was so big and everyone just wanted to share so much love. So, as I'm traveling more and more in Latin America and South America, I just want to establish that love connection. Well, the castle, I just had this vision, and I thought to myself, why has nobody ever had a castle on their stage? I thought to myself, why has that never happened? Or I didn't know if anyone had ever done that before. And I wanted to create a fortress. I wanted to create something that was a metaphor for strength, for a revolutionary spirit. I wanted to create a story about my life and how I believed that I was ultimately the creation of the fans, and that I almost feel like my previous 3 albums were the beginning, and I feel like what I'm arriving upon is the true beginning. And that's what the show's about. The show's about, it's sort of like the Star Wars of tours, the episode 1. That's what the Born This Way Ball is. Born This Way Ball is episode 1. So as I'm traveling through the castle, you see all the outfits I'm gonna wear, and you see the egg, and you see me in the meat dress, and you see all these ideas about politics and society and culture. Everything's coming together, and you're just not quite sure where it's gonna go yet. And then by the end, we all just sort of drop into the stage like a spaceship, and the castle's just left there. And then I also told the crew that it was cool for them to break it down in front of everybody, because I usually ask them to hang a sheet. But there's something really awesome with this album this time around. Born This Way, there's part of it that's like really succinct and clean as a message, and then there's other parts of it that are really chaotic and messy, because I think sometimes revolution is angry. And so some of the sounds are angry and crazy. And I just, I wanted that sort of spirit to be what people took away from the show. I wanted them to take away a sense of the breaking down of reality into fantasy, and then back to reality again. So the show starts, and it's just a sheet, and the sheet drops, and it's this massive castle. And then by the end of the performance, I drop into the stage, and all my crew members take the castle apart, and you watch it being driven away like a set piece. The changes for the show are the fastest changes I've ever done. I mean, I quite literally leave stage after doing Born This Way, completely change my outfit. It has a hat, a cape, and gloves, and it's latex, which means I have to slip into it in lubricant backstage, and then they have to wipe me down after they've slipped it to me into it in lubricant, because if I go out on stage covered in lube, all the dancers are going to fall, including myself. So it's quite like we have a whole system, and I'm actually quite fun backstage unless something is done differently, and then I get freaked out very easily, because if one thing happens backstage that's not as it's supposed to happen every night, it tells me that other things could go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I get nervous. But it's that sort of regimen that we have backstage of, like, the rehearsal of the changes. It's that makes me free when I get onto the stage. Backstage is like school, right, and training, and then I get on stage and I, the way that Richie's really trained me for this tour is that I'm locked into the choreography, and then I can just snap right out of it and freestyle all around the stage and then snap right back in, and it's like a totally new energy for me. And sometimes I really wish the fans knew what was going on back there, because this show's pretty hardcore. It's pretty hardcore. The most intense part of the show is that, for whatever reason, unlike the last couple shows, this show is the most physically demanding from a choreography perspective, from the way the stage is laid out. There's approximately, I want to say there's 10 to 15 ladders backstage, and I actually have to climb 4 or 5 ladders to just get to the top of the castle when I need to get up there. And I'm going up and down and out into the runway and back throughout the show. Plus I'm dancing and I sing live the entire night. And Born This Way is way more vocally challenging. The album is much more vocally challenging than the other 2 records that I put out. I sang a lot. I didn't think of that. Why did I sing so much on my album? I'm never singing again. I'm just kidding. But the fans don't realize, because they're always worried about me. They're like, oh, we hear she got sick, or was puking on stage and all that stuff. And you guys don't know what we're doing backstage. I mean, it is, the dancers are all puking. People are passing out. It's like, the show is really, really hardcore. And it's hard to tell from YouTube videos and stuff, because you can't be in the room and really see everything that's happening. But the stage is not a video screen, so everything that's happening that you're watching is being operated by somebody, or being moved, or danced, or all of the movement is from us. And so it's really hard, but it's fun. It's like we go athletically into a really intense level, where we're just like sweating on each other and screaming and singing and crying, and the audience is giving that energy back. So all the fainting and the puking and all that is sort of like par for the course, I guess. When it I mean, I used to wonder why athletes would always get so sick after marathons, and I know why now, because I know what it is to really give yourself to your fans and let them control you while you're out there, and let them dictate how hard you sweat. Let their energy dictate how much you give. One of my favorite things that happens when I'm touring is when I get to have personal conversations with the fans, either when I bring them on stage or after the show if I brought them backstage. And last night I was with a fan, and she said, I've met these 2 guys at the Monster Ball, or she may have even met them at the Fame Ball. I'm not sure which tour she was talking about, because she was a big fan, but she was married for like 8 years, and she was like, I think 28, or maybe I think she seemed 28. And she goes, I just want you to read this. And I looked at her phone, and it was a message from her friend, and he said, Gaga, I just want you to know that when I have a bad day and I feel like I can't get control of my bad day and my thoughts and how it's making me feel, I write bravery down on a piece of paper, and I fold it up and I put it in my pocket. And when I'm feeling like I want to lose it, you know, whether that means like, you know, like be a bad person and lash out at somebody, or, you know, I want to be irritable today, or I want to cry, or whatever that is. He said, whenever I feel like that, I just put my hand in my pocket and I feel that piece of paper. And I'm reminded that I can do it. I'm reminded that I can be brave and I can overcome my feelings. And it's that stuff that's why I make music. That's why I made this record. That's why I made this tour. There is nothing this is one of the most organic tours that has taken place in a long time. It's live music. It's a live vocalist. I don't lip sync. I sing and dance the whole night. The clothes are Versace, Armani, and Moschino, and there is not one video screen on that stage. It's just pure theater. It's a as a New Yorker, as a theater major from New York, it's like the greatest show ever. I mean, it's just my total dream. Hola, pequeños monstruos. This is Lady Gaga. I love you, and I'm so happy to be here for my Born This Way Ball tour.